All right, so let's move on. Okay, so again, please take hands off your machine. So before we basically go into the access specifier, I just want to touch base on the control flows. Okay, how a control flows work. Then I will explain this access specifiers. Okay, because there is a link between these two. So we'll understand what is a control flow thing. So in a Java program or any program you write, right? It cannot just go in a linear flow as such. Okay, there should be statements which you have to write. It has to increment to a set of times, right? And it has to break at some point, or it has to basically do a else kind of a statement. So there are a lot of control flows which we have to do as part of writing a program, right? So there are different control flows which are there in Java. If you ask me from a broader standpoint, we have alteration, looping, and escape. Okay, so what is alteration is, if I want to do a condition. So condition in the sense, if this is equal to this, or if this condition is satisfied, set of code, else you execute code. Okay, so based upon true or false condition, the if and else condition will be executed for you. Okay, so the similar way, if I want to write or execute the same set of or lines of code for 10 times, 20 times, or until some condition is reached, if I want to run a code to check something on the page, I'll be able to do it in the looping statement. Or I can use a while statement until some while condition is reached. I have to execute some set of some lines of code. I'll be able to use my while statement. The similar way, I have escape statements as well. So escape statements is where I'll be able to use switch statement based upon my condition. I'll be able to switch, and I can execute only that condition and run the program. So it is just a theory for now. I'm just explaining it from a broader level. What is alteration, looping, and escape? So we will see a few examples in detail how this if-else statements basically works. Okay. So before actually going right, so we will go back to the string class itself, and we'll see how this if-else statements is basically used. Okay. So let me go to the Eclipse editor. So this is where we were using our string classes, right? So now what I'm going to do here is C capital team. I'll just use conditional statement as well as my string class also here. Okay. So I'll just give string student name is equal to, I have something called as Santosh. I'll have one more student name defined. Student name one is equal to, I'll have it like Kavya. Okay, so two students name now defined over here. How will I use my if condition over here is, so if okay, this is how I define my if condition. If of, it has to come in my open braces team student name dot, okay, so there is a method called as equals, right? So equals or equal ignore case of, both the case we can do. Equal ignore case of, see by default my is showing this one. If I want to compare it with student name one, I'll just give a statement. So both the students are equal. Both the student names are equal. Okay. If this is not happening, if both the student name or this student name and this student name is not equal, right, then I cannot leave my class such. I have to basically do a else condition, right? So if this is not met, I cannot just leave the code as such. I have to write an else statement. I'll write an else statement, and I'll just put a the student names are not equal. Okay, so now you understood, right? So how I can use my if and else statement over here, and I can do a comparison. Okay, now if I run this code, see student names are not equal is getting printed because if condition, once a code has been executed, it compares the this string with this string, it will compare, this is not true. So it's basically a false. So it comes to the else condition and it basically checks what is happening in the else condition for me and it executes the code accordingly. So this is a simple if and else statement. If I want to do multiple checks, okay, so let me create a class that and show it to you. So in the meantime, I'll just put this in the chat because I'm switching to a new class. You can use this also as copy. Okay. So now I'll create one more class out here. If else